And I hereby conclude we in here. All right. Mm. Mm-mm-mm. Mm. All right. So, first off, we're going to talk about athleticism and obesity. Athleticism and health. Athleticism does not equate health. I'm tired of hearing people talk about Lizzo and how she can do all these things, but the average person cannot. You know who else can do a bunch of stuff the average person cannot? Elite level athletes. And guess what? When you start looking at the things that befall them later in life because of the huge demand they place on their body, they're not healthy. All right? There is a difference between athleticism and health. And people seem to mess that up all the time. Now, the things you may do to become more athletic may improve your health markers, but athleticism in of itself is not indicative of health. How do I know? You ever see a crackhead? You ever see somebody off that meth? They are really athletic. They're not healthy though, are they? And a lot of people just mess this up. They don't understand that there is a difference. We have a crisis, actually. Like the UK, their nationalized healthcare or whatever is struggling because obese individuals, maladies related to being obese, crippling their system. We spend billions upon billions, probably more, in the United States on obesity related illnesses. And now you guys want to fight for nationalized healthcare? That's not going to happen. And here's why it's not going to happen. We have a worse obesity issue than they have. And their system's being crippled because people are eating themselves overweight. I don't want to say the F word. I'm not trying to get taken down. But that's literally what obesity is. When we're talking about Lizzo, Lizzo is obese, overly obese. All right? There are objective measures that we can use to easily, readily, and accurately say, without even just looking at her, not being a doctor or her doctor, that she is overly obese. All right? I mean, we can just do it. Now, that's not based on BMI. You guys love to throw BMI out there. We could just check on body fat percentage. Anybody, a woman over 30% body fat, come on, obese. Come on. Well, look, what I'm trying to tell you guys is this. That y'all like to feel good, and I understand it, but just because you're obese does not mean it's an insult necessarily. It doesn't mean that you have to do something. You can just be obese, say, look, I'm obese, I like being obese, that's it, and just do what you do. But understand that your health is at risk. All right? Now, of course, you're not Lizzo neither. Lizzo, like I said, because she's athletic, she's going to probably have better health markers than she normally would have. However, 80% of people who are obese, they are going to eventually suffer from health issues. 80% of the obese people that are metabolically healthy today will no longer be metabolically healthy in the future. Blood work is a snapshot in time, and it does not tell you the full picture usually, and does not tell you where your trajectory is. When you're obese, we already know multiple systems in the body are stressed. They are chronically stressed, and eventually they start to break down. All right, they start to break down. We're talking about things such as just insulin resistance, right? Insulin sensitivity is very important. When you become insulin resistant, nutrients can't go where they need to go in the body. That is part of the reason they actually suspect in the field of longevity that we eventually, one of the things that contribute to the demise of the average human being is just you lose the ability to uptake nutrients because over time your body becomes resistant to the the insulin. So what I'm trying to tell you guys is that, wow, I checked this text message, right? What I'm trying to tell you guys is that this stuff is serious. And not only is it serious, but athleticism is not. You guys love throwing Lizzo out there because she's the only obese person y'all know that can do what she does for the most part. But athleticism is just athleticism. It's your ability to do things, to go, whether it's lift and move objects, your ability to go ahead and run for a long period of time. But what you don't realize is that you're doing all this athletic stuff on a body that is not made to be as big as it is, and it's collapsing. It's falling apart, you know? So I need y'all to get it together, basically. I need y'all to come to the realization that it's propaganda, really. I need you to understand that it's not right to throw this obese woman in front of everybody and say, oh, well, she's not healthy. Let's see you do what she can do. It's like, no, wrong thing. If she's not athletic, let's see you do something. That's really what it is. This is a little bit of a rant. Also, while I'm ranting, interesting point came up, and I actually didn't get to tell him. We're not going to hash out our conversation here, but me and my nephew were talking about tipping. We went out. Meal was expensive, naturally. And then we're like, yo, you got a tip. And he's like, yo, why do I got to... The tip should be coming out of what I'm paying for the burger. And I actually agree with that. Now, I was just telling them about the ethics and all that, tipping. That's what we were talking about. But I do agree that, hey, the worker should be making a decent enough wage to where they don't have to rely on a tip for a decent wage. I should be able to just give a tip because they had exceptional service. I feel like giving a tip, it should be an option, not an obligation. So I do feel him on that. I didn't get to tell him that. I also wanted to tell him that that maybe he needed to get that check looked at. I think they overcharged him for the burger. But regardless of all that, I do think the reason why I'm bringing that up is because we're talking about food. And if you guys don't know, I'm eating right now. You know, I got some new protein in. It's good. And eating when you're an athlete of any sort is part of your job. Nutrition is part of your job. So take it serious like you would any aspect of your job. But notice that since we're talking about athleticism and health, when you're an athlete, a lot of things you may do may not necessarily be healthy, which is going to segue into another video. But it's necessary to perform the way you need to perform. So eat what you need to do what you need to do, eat how you need to eat, but realize that when your time, a lot of people get caught up with this, when your time as an athlete is over, your diet needs to change. Your diet needs to shift. You need to eat a different way because you're no longer performing at a level that you were, and you're no longer eating to fuel that performance, but you do need to eat to fuel your performance. Takeaways from this video. All right. Athleticism and health are not the same. They are not the same. So stop conflating the two. Don't let people trick you into conflating the two, and don't get torn between the two like LaToya Luckett, all right? I think that was her. That's it. That's the rant. How you gonna act?